Hey, what's up guys? Gonna do another Guild War defense analysis type video like I did last Guild War. I forgot to record my fights, so that's why I'm doing this. I would have did fights because the fights in this one were pretty good, but forgot to hit the record. So here's the guild, SPQR. I don't know if there's a way you actually pronounce that. If there is, then sweet. But I'll just go through these up here real quick, like I did last time. I'll try to go a bit faster. So round one here, like you could easily bait that Biken and Violet into a Crow, and you can bring some kind of Earth Bruiser and a Cleanser and be relatively safe up there. Sarmia, I wouldn't say she's very good on defense. Like you could easily bring Dizzy into that comp, and you wouldn't really want to bring Dizzy into the first comp, so there's no dilemma there on where you should bring Dizzy. Best way to think about building a Guild War defense, I think right now, unless you have like tons of MLs and that's going to be one of your teams, you want to build both of your teams around countering Dizzy, because pretty much everybody has Dizzy, so somebody's going to bring Dizzy to attack you like 90% of the time. So you need to have one of your team, like if one of your teams just straight up loses to Dizzy, then that's just a match you're handing to whoever your opponent is. And yeah, Euphem's there. But with no immunity there, unless this Eupheme is on immunity, but Eupheme typically isn't very fast, so it's pretty easy to run a Dizzy there with some kind of heal support and then some kind of high damage dealer, or maybe even just a tank, and just weed that team down. But generally Dizzy can handle a Eupheme pretty easily, I think. I think this would be better if he just dropped the Eupheme and put the Violet down in round 2, and then found another fire unit to put in his round 1. That might perform a little better, but that's what I think about those. So let's move on here to this one. This round 1's pretty good. I don't know why it's got that connecting there. But honestly, unless that Luna's on immunity, it's probably not that strong. Kayron obviously has to be on immunity too, and probably Kin, because that team gets hard shut down by Dizzy as well. Dizzy and any, you could realistically bring Dizzy and 2 sustain units, and as long as you can lock down that Luna, that's why I suggest like having immunity on her. Round 2, Watcher Shuri is too easy to bait into something. You just run like immunity into that team, and it's a pretty easy win. This was one of my fights. Unfortunately, we double attacked this tower, so I didn't get any havoc for it. Starkin finished it before I did, but that's unfortunate. Like for the round 1, the J-Kisei was slow, so there wasn't really a threat there. I expected her to be fast. And then the Biken and the Luna both hit into my Angelica and didn't kill her through Crimson Armin. So I didn't even outspeed the team. I take the damage and I was just fine. And then round 2, I forgot what I brought. I think I just brought Luna and Sustain, and it was fine. Ruzid really doesn't offer anything to that team. Like, Biken would probably be better down there. And then have, like, Biken on immunity, because people are going to want to bring Dizzy into that comp more than likely. But it's kind of how I dealt with that. Through the fort. It's got a lot of defenses here. The round 2 can be pretty scary. It just really depends on their speeds, because Biken is going to hit a defense break unless you, like, I would attack into that with, like, Montmorency, so I just resisted everything from the Clurry, and then had Crimson Armin there, and then some kind of Bruiser, and it's probably an easy win. Because I got the, like, literally Montmorency serves to tank 2 of those units and the cleanse. Literally Montmorency destroys that team. Round 1, you just got to deal with Arbiter Vildred different ways. Like, either you outspeed it and Oxlots it with your own J-Kisei, you hit it with your own Arbiter Vildred, you hit it with your BBK Oxlots, or you just tank the damage with, Crimson Armin and Dizzy. See, you would really want to bring Dizzy to both of these teams. So it's kind of good how he's got his set up. It's probably why he's got so many successful defenses there, because You kind of figure it, like, most people are going to want to bring Dizzy to both of these fights. Well, these ones, that round 1 is just designed to kill something, but most people are just kind of ox-lops that, realistically. And round 2, Dizzy shuts it down. That's pretty much it there. I mean, Corvus shuts down that team really hard, too. To bring Corvus and 2 ice units, it's a free win. There's a lot of Ruzids. That round 1, it just, again, depends on how... There's a lot of Lunas on a lot of these defenses, and Luna's just iffy on her own, because if she hits something and she hits it hard, you're probably going to lose it. So either you got to outspeed it, or tank it with something. Run a really tanky team. See, there's no sustain there, so you could probably just run a really tanky team. Luna with sustain, I think, is a lot more threatening. And then round 2, it's another team that gets shut down by Dizzy. Kayron, he's alright. Like, if your Kayron's not on immunity, you shouldn't be using him in Guild War. I don't know if his is or not. I didn't fight him. But Ruzid really doesn't do anything here. Ruzid really doesn't do much for a defense, I don't think. I mean, it's just too, like, he's easy to outspeed by, you know, people that have good speed gear. And he just doesn't do anything after that initial turn, really. He doesn't hit hard. Especially if you don't even 6-star him and full awaken him and have, you know, like, I just don't see the point. I'm going to eat my words here in a second. See, this round 1's pretty good. That's really hard. You're going to lose a unit there. Unless you, that's a good team, I think. I always figured Kayron's really good paired with Vildred. But ideally there, maybe like an Oxlots team. I wouldn't be able to beat that, I don't think. I would have to bring... Yeah, I would need more than 3 units to deal with those 3 units. The round 2, like, really falls off against the round 1. I mean, such a good round 1, but the round 2 is really easy. I wouldn't run a full ice team. Violet would eat that team alive by himself, pretty much. And all you need is, like, a tanky unit to tank the Crow ult, or just crowd control them with your own Dizzy, because there's no consistent cleanser there. So the round 1's really good. I don't think I could deal with it, but the round 2, like most people, can beat no problem. This one over here, I got some unfortunate luck. I don't know why I keep getting this connecting thing. The round 1 was really easy. My Violet pretty much soloed it. Like, literally one-shot all 3 of the units with a counterattack. But the round 2, I brought my Dizzy, my Crimson Armin, and a healer. I forgot what healer I brought. But the Biken procced RNL 2 times on her first turn. So, chunked my pretty tanky Dizzy below half health. She's on immunity, so I didn't get hit by the bleeds, and then Luna finished her off just barely. So I just got hit with some bad luck there. But again, like, it's Luna. So, generally, it's better to outspeed those. I don't have many speed options in my roster. That's something I'm going to take care of as a result of this fight, because I'm tired of going into Lunas with uncertainty of whether or not I can tank their damage. So, I'm just going to build like a 250 Assassin Collie and deal with Bikens and Lunas that way. Pretty simple. And then down here, pretty good round 1. I like that round 1. Round 2, it's alright, but it depends on how fast that Dizzy is. Usually you would bring like a Dizzy to deal with Luna, but you have a cleanse there, which is good, so these are just really solid teams, I think. Yeah, I mean, the way to deal with them really is just like try to out-tank their damage in round 1, bring some kind of bruiser of your own, and just control where the damage goes, and then I would probably bring, say maybe a strong fire unit, but you know, getting through Angelica with a good hard-hitting fire unit is kind of difficult, so maybe like Luna or something, Like, since I got Tamara now, I'm going to start using her a lot more. But it's a good round 1. It's a really annoying team to deal with. And then round 2, yeah. It's got the cleanse there, so Dizzy isn't really recommended. If that's a high resist Acades, it's even more not recommended. So really, like, I would just try and take the damage there. Like usual, that's what I do. If it's just the Luna hitting me, then I'm not too worried. If the Luna has some other damage prior to her hitting me, then I get worried. Like if a Biking goes first, or she hits a defense break from a Clurry, but usually that doesn't happen. Decent solid round 2. Violet Fat Cat's good. Really all you have to do to deal with that is, if you have a Crow and a Crimson Armament, just bring both of those and then bring a solid DPS unit. You delete something with Crow as soon as he gets low enough. You have another unit to tank Fat Cat, and you can probably out damage the Angelica's heals. And then round 1, like, it just depends on if Jay Kisei is fast or slow. Usually she's fast, but all you need to do is bring immunity against Jay Kisei and you win. So I like bringing Violet into Jay Kisei, and Violet destroys the rest of that team too. Because even if she gets her S3 off on Violet, she just puts his S2 on cooldown for me. So that's how I deal with Jay Kisei on defenses, pretty much. Obviously this guy's relatively new. Round 1, it's pretty easy to tank. You can assume Judith is going to be fast. Most people can probably outspeed a Judith still, depending on how good of speed gear they have, but if not, you can run full immunity there in a decently tanky bruiser team and you win. And then round 2, Lidica can get easily baited into an earth unit on immunity. Clurry can get baited into a high resist water unit, and then it's just Luna hitting something, and she's probably not going to hit hard enough to one-shot if you bring a tanky team. There's no sustain there, so there's no reason to bring, a high damage unit with, you could bring tankier units in order to guarantee you survive the S3. And here, another freaking Luna. Like, Luna is everywhere in this guild. But, like, I'm gonna stop talking about Lunas. Basically, what you do is you want to either outspeed them or you want to be able to take their damage. Like, that's really it. They're gonna hit what they want. Generally, they're gonna hit your squishiest target out the gate. Like, from what I can tell, if I have Crimson Armin and I have Corvus on my team, both with over 20k HP, and then I have 12k HP Violet, like, I always expect a Violet to get hit. It's just how it works. Usually it's right. I don't see her hitting the weaker, like a stronger, beefier target, like, ever when I attack into her. So just expect she's going to hit your weakest target. In round 2, it's just a speed team. Basically a Luna on round 2 too, because Sid can hit whatever he wants with a speed buff. So just kind of annoying. You really just got to choose which one of these teams you want to outspeed it, and then tank the other one, unless you have 2 good speed teams. And here, the round 1, that's a very annoying round 1 to deal with. Lilibet's good for that now. That's a team I don't like attacking into. Or I would bring, like, usually what I'll bring is 2 cleansers. I'll bring Destina, Montmorency, and I'll bring Biken. Because I know my Biken can kill Ruel pretty easily. And I'll just constantly cleanse and whatever. If they don't kill my Biken that turn 1, then I win. And then round 2, there's no sustain. So you notice, like, no one really had a problem with the round 2 here. All you really got to do is make sure you have something to take the Krau's S3, which Corvus, and a lot of people in my guild are building Corvus now. He's getting use. And something to take the Violet's damage, and then that's it. You win. Kind of annoying round 1. Ruels are just annoying to deal with in general. But with Lilibet now, I don't know, K-Ron kind of protects against a little bit, so that's good coverage there. The way I would deal with that team is I would probably just bring Dizzy, some kind of sustain, like Destina, and then I would bring something that I know can kill that Ruel. So maybe Biken. I know K-Ron will just focus on my Destina with Water's Origin. I just have to worry about K-Ron's S3s. So maybe I wouldn't bring Biken in that case, but bring like Luna or something. That's how I would deal with that if I was to fight something like that. Round 2, I would just, like, there's another team I would need Dizzy for, so kudos on how he has his teams built, because people would want to bring Dizzy to both of those teams. Go up here. You could probably assume that Dizzy is on Ayala's there, so I would just bring a high resist team again and Violet, more than likely to deal with round 1. It's a pretty easy win unless that Araminta has over 200 effectiveness. And then round 2, I would bring Dizzy. Like, you could bring Dizzy to round 1, but you don't really need to. Just bring high resist and a bruiser. But definitely bring her to round 2 on Ayala's to deal with K-Ron's immortality and to deal with Crimson Armin's immunity and invincible. Really good round 1 and really good round 2. These are really good teams. Ruel's just a pain in the ass, but not having an earth coverage there, you can safely bring a Luna into this. And I'm pretty sure, like, if a well-geared Luna can kill a Ruel, even if it's on Water's Origin. It'd be a pain in the ass, but like if you brought Dizzy to that team, because you wouldn't want to bring Dizzy to round 2. Like, that would be dumb. Like, so you would bring Dizzy and Luna to this round 1. There's no Earth unit there to threaten those units. And then you would bring a unit to tank Kin, so probably Destina. And then you would lock down that Ruel, depending on her resist, with Dizzy, and then just DPS her down with Luna. And hopefully you kind of win that race and Kin doesn't kill your Destina before you kill that Ruel. But run Water's Origin yourself, and you should be fine. Go to the next one down here. Good round 1. Very solid round 1. And pretty good round 2 as well. Good coverage. Like, Violet is really good for preventing people to bringing Dizzy against your Kin. It's really good for that. So basically, like, one way to deal with that team is to bring your own Crow. Something to tank the Violet's damage, because Violet can hit really hard. Something that tanks the Kin's damage. Like, so you could realistically bring Destina and Montmorency, or Destina and Angelica, and your own bruiser. You can kill the Kin, kill the Violet, or you could bring a really tanky Dizzy if you wanted to. Some Dizzies can tank Violets, and mine can't. Maybe with 2 healers it can. So it's one way to deal with that. And then round 2, it's Violet or Biken and Dizzy are really strong paired together, because Dizzy can bring that Ayala's and strip immunity for Biken to hit usually, which is really good, and Crimson Armin's there, you know, to mitigate any damage from burst they would receive. Way I would deal with that, it's just, again, there's no sustain, so I would bring high sustain. Luckily I have 4 healers built, so realistically I can bring 4 healers, 2 onto each team, and a bruiser in Guild War. And I would recommend everyone getting to that point eventually. Really good round 1. I don't know why Cermia's on that round 2. It's weird. One thing I don't like about running Sage Bale with Dizzy is that, like, they don't really work together. I mean, Dizzy doesn't follow up with any CC. So you sleep everything with Bale, right? And then Dizzy breaks all the sleeps. Like, yeah, Bale's there for the strip, but realistically, you could just run Dizzy on the strip and then bring another unit that actually provides more utility to the team. Like, if this guy had a Violet or a Biken on this team, it would be way better, I think. Sage Bale just doesn't really do anything unless paired with an Araminta, or if you're going to use him with like one-shot units. Like if you were to use Sage Bell with Luna and Biken, for example, like that could be really powerful too, because Sage Bell can generally outspeed most stuff. They kind of are forced to bring in Oxlots into that team, or they're going to lose something. Good chance they're going to lose a unit. So that's how I would use Bale. I wouldn't use him in a team like this because he really doesn't provide anything to the team other than sleep stuff just to get his sleeps broken, and then he doesn't do anything. So that's my 2 cents on that. The round 1's really strong though. Ruel paired with Luna is just a strong team, period. Doesn't even matter what the final unit is. It's even more annoying it's with a Kayron. But with that, like, I would just bring Dizzy. Bring Dizzy, lock them down. Bring something that can tank the Kayron, just like with that Ken team earlier. I think there was a Ruel, Luna, Ken team. But you just bring Destina to take the Kayron, and then you bring some kind of unit that can kill the Ruel, probably your own Luna. Same way you deal with that other team I talked about before. Here, really good round 1. I like that round 1. Round 2 is pretty good too. Just throwing Vildred on a team works. I don't know if I would put him on this kind of team though. This team's still weak to like J-Kisei, BBK. And like Oxlots will dump on that team. If they can kill the Vildred and have an extra turn mechanic available, then that team loses. Or if they have well, that kind of protects against a little bit because of Ken, but if there's an extra turn mechanic used against that team, it's over. It's an easy win. But who knows? Maybe they kill off the Vildred and it's Oxlots and J-Kisei or something, and the Ken solos all of them. Like that's entirely possible. But, so the team could still work. It just depends on who's fighting it and what their roster looks like. Another one of these full ice round 1s, you just bring Violet 2 and win. And then round 2, yeah, I would allocate these teams differently. Euphine really doesn't do much on defense. I would never use her on defense. Guy's got some good units, and I see Ruel in his picture there. He should really be using that on his Guild War defense. Like Ruel, like replace that Euphine there with Ruel, dude, and run it like that. And then you could even put Biken up top and put Dizzy down on the bottom, because Dizzy's pain in the ass to deal with, and people usually want to kill her first if she gets revived, and that's just annoying. I think that would be a better way to set up these teams. Like I said, round 1 just loses to an ice unit or a Violet, and then round 2 just loses to a Firekin. Like there's really no challenge there. It's another Sage Bale Dizzy. They are kind of counterproductive. They don't really do anything together. Bale does nothing after that initial strip, and there's no huge damage threat there. So like you could realistically, if your entire team gets slept, it's not even a big deal. And then the round 2 is pretty good. It's a good round 2. But I wouldn't recommend running Ken with Deanne. Ken with Crimson Armand's good, but you get the anti-crit buff on your Ken, it's going to get crit less, and it makes him easier to kill because he doesn't put out as much damage. Solid round 1. I like the round 1. The round 2 is pretty good too. I don't know why I keep getting this RAS connecting screen. But like generally, the way I like dealing with fat cats in general is with Dizzy. Violet's there to protect against that. You could probably bring a really strong Fire Bruiser into that round 1, like a Ken, with sustain and beat it relatively easy. And then round 2, you just bring your Dizzy on Ayelas to keep the dispels up, to lock down Kayron, since there's no cleanse there to really protect him, and there's no earth threat for your Dizzy. So just deal with round 2 with Dizzy, pretty much. A Celestidom. Yeah, I would not run Celestidom in Arena ever. Or not in Arena, but in Guild War ever. I use it on my alt. It's a fun combo, but Cdom is too easy to bait. All you gotta do is bring Fighter Maya to that team and a cleanser, and you win. It doesn't even matter if you bring a third unit or not. And then round 2, it's a good round 2. I don't know if I would, like Watcher Shuri would just pop that dude. There's no Arius protecting him. You could easily bring Watcher Shuri and there's no threat to an ice area. So if you bring, well, Watcher Shuri's kind of iffy with Dark Corvus because he focuses him, but I would bring like Tamarin, Watcher Shuri, ice area, and just 1-2 pop. I would literally pop Ruel and then pop Dark Corvus back to back, and then it's just a Montmorency there that doesn't do anything. So I would recommend, if you have a Crow, throw Crow on that team. Or if you have like something that can hold an Arius, it makes Ruel a lot harder to one-shot. It makes Dark Corvus a lot harder to one-shot, and it's just a unit that they don't want to hit because it's just going to get revived. You know they're going to target your Ruel. She can already heal herself. I don't see running 2 healers with Dark Corvus in Guild War as being a good thing. Because people can actually tank Dark Corvus. You can't soul burn his S3 in defense. So there's units out there that can easily tank him. So I wouldn't recommend running a team that way. Round 1, just run immunity on a tanky team or outspeed it. In round 2, there's no damage threat. Just bring Violet and Dizzy, and you win round 2. Those are interesting. There's that, that round 2 is actually pretty interesting. Like, you have the Clurry there for biking to hit the defense break. It's a very scary combo. It's probably easily outspeedable. Like, if you have a 250 Oxlots, you probably win that, no problem. But a lot of people don't have that. So trying to tank that would be relatively difficult. Biken can one-shot most units in the game on a defense break. Or not one shot, but one turn. So I would probably bring something with high resist that I know the Clurry probably doesn't have enough effectiveness with, so my Montmorency. And I would bring something to bait the Sermia into. Like, maybe I would bring Montmorency, Fire Corvus, and then another water unit. A safe water unit, like Corral, or another healer, Angelica. You know, something I know that they can take the hit if they decide to hit the Angelica or the Corral over the Montmorency. Or I would bring, like, probably an Ice Arius holder would be the best thing to do. So Corral. And then the round 1, it's decent. But Dizzy really holds no threat against fire units, so you could bring Kin into that. And then Charles, he's kind of AoEs. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He's really best suited in situations where there's going to be AoE coming at you. So generally when you put Crow on a team, you want to put him on a team that you know people want to bring Dizzy against. That you know people want to strip against. Does that make sense? Strippers are generally AoE mages. So if you have Charles, I'm getting tongue-tied, paired with Crimson Armin, for example, like I do, people want to bring a strip to deal with Crimson Armin's immunities and Invincible. So they bring an AoE. Charles counters that with elbows. Make sense? With this, they could bring a single target Kin. It's completely dump on that Charles, because Montmorency really doesn't put out that much healing. She'll be able to cleanse the defense breaks, but you can safely bring 2 DPS to this team in a healer and win it. So that's just my 2 cents on that. And then Stronghold up here. I fought this one too. For the round 1, I brought a level 50 Tamarin. I used Destina, Tamarin, Luna. And my Luna was pretty much, like, there's no Arius on that CC. And my Luna was almost able to one-shot that Montmorency with no defense break, no nothing, just with an S1. And then when she got the attack buff, she did one-shot her. So that Montmorency's defense is pretty low. And then for the round 2, it was just really iffy. I brought Montmorency to make sure the defense break went to Montmorency and got resisted. And then Luna hit, I think, my Violet and didn't one-shot him, and my Violet's not even that tanky. So after I survived that, it was an easy win. But that's everything. I I'm sure the people that are in this guild are going to be watching this video, and I want you guys to know this isn't like, this is just me helping out the community. I'm not talking down on you guys or anything. A lot of you guys have really good defenses, like really well thought out, great synergy, but the ones that are kind of iffy, I did mention, you know, there are ways to beat them, so hopefully it helps you guys out. That's my intent here. I'm not doing this to flex like people said I did last time, like, I don't know what the fuck, but like, I'm not flexing, like, I'm just trying to help out the community the best way I can. People want help with offenses. This is the best way for me to help out with offenses. So hopefully you guys aren't triggered and I helped you with something. If I didn't help you with anything, I mean, that's fine too. I'm not saying you guys don't know. You know, you probably know everything I'm saying, realistically. But I know when I build a defense, I'm always linking it in guild. I'm asking for feedback, and people constantly, well, this team can beat it, no problem. A lot of people have that. And people don't really think of that very often. They get a really cool theory craft in mind, and they want to run it on defense, and then, oh crap, well, this hard shut down by Dizzy. I didn't even think of that. So hopefully I brought some light on that for you guys if you were looking for some feedback, some outside feedback. And if you did, let me know. If you hate me, let me know. If you want me to fuck off, let me know. But thanks for watching. If you're new here, subscribe. Toss me a like if you enjoyed it. And you guys have a good one.